Welcome to Plants vs. Meat, the podcast where we put the health, environment, and animal rights debates on the chopping block. Real Men Eat Plants is proud to provide time to dig deep into the meaty issues that divide us, as we pit a carnivore against a plant-baser in a no-holds-barred battle for the truth. Get ready to hear some passionate arguments, mind-blowing facts, and maybe even a few jokes, as we explore ways to save the planet, improve our health, and save some animals along the way. So, whether you're a plant-based warrior or a meat-eating machine, tune in to Plants vs. Meat and find out which side you're really on.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Plants vs. Meat. And we are here today to talk about the diets and the ways that people fuel their bodies and all sorts of good stuff. And joining me today is Ernest and Alana with Xcel, the best damn nutrition bar out there. So,
Absolutely.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
I really appreciate you. So you and I met at another event a little bit back, and I just love your product. Tell us all about the best damn nutrition bar.
Well, thank you first.
Absolutely. We appreciate you trying it, and we're glad you enjoyed it. So tell you a little bit about the product. So we call it the best for a reason. It is vegan and gluten-free meal bars. We've been taking some of the things that we've talked about over from that event and some other cohorts that we've attended and, looking on making a slight pivot in how we brand. So we're looking at possibly calling it a meal bar instead of a nutrition bar because it is and can be used as a meal replacement bar. It's a date-based bar. Dates being the primary ingredient, combination of gluten-free oats, nuts, seeds, dried fruits, and all things of the sort. We'd like to call it an accident turned business, so I'll let Baby kind of get the backstory on that because she tells it so eloquently.
So high level, when we met, we told this story, but the one thing that I omitted for the crowd was I think oatmeal is nasty. My palate preference, right? I grew up in New Jersey, so I am a cream of wheat kind of girl.
Okay.
But he was eating oatmeal one morning, and he wanted to add some pizzazz. He wanted some chopped dates, only had pitted dates. Put it into the blender thinking that it was going to just chop them, but it turned into a very gooey substance. And that day I thought that he became a food scientist because he used his ingenuity to craft what is today's Xcel bar. And it's
awesome.
gone through name changes and different testing as far as what ingredients complement one another. And we have a great array of delicious flavors and textures. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, accident oatmeal turned into a meal bar. However, I hope that he omits the oatmeal moving forward.
Not gonna
keep working out. I do like the oatmeal, but I want to see some variety in it. You got to mix it up and have the samplings, right? So
yeah, for sure.
Well, that is awesome. So I appreciate you giving us that background because it was so surprising to me because I am the real man who eats plants and I've been on this vegan journey for quite a while now. And so I am just looking for people like you to come on this show and just sort of chat with me about that. Because you have a really good product. It's vegan, but yet you guys aren't vegan yourselves, right?
Right.
Not yet, anyway. Right. I'm going to try and convince you. But
Well, we respect all lifestyles and choices on what your palate prefers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, and I grew up, full meat eater too on that whole front and, did it for whatever, 35 years. So I've been 13, 14-ish years, more or less on my plant-based journey on that front. And so I'm just curious, if you look at the health aspects of it, the best damn nutrition bar is vegan on that front. It gets you a lot of the vitamins, minerals, protein, all that stuff that you need on that front. People advocate for plant-based diets. Others say the meat diets. What do you see as the health benefits of the diets and stuff? How do you guys unpack the different kinds of diets that are out there right now?
So that's actually one of the your original statement slash question um, was one of the main questions we get. Are you guys vegan?
Right.
No, we're not. But what we will say is that we have no need to put any kind of animal products in our bars.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the only thing that would potentially have the need to have any meat product or animal product in it is chocolate. So
Right.
yeah, for the dairy, but we use dark chocolate because we know people just like good food in general. But
Yeah.
if we make it uh, free of any animal products, then we also appeal to the vegan audience.
Right.
I was born and raised in the South, Lawrenceburg, North Carolina. A lot of farmland and things like that. So my family actually, grew up on farmland. My mother's side of the family.
Yeah.
So in addition to having their own cows, pigs, chickens, and things like that, a vast majority of the diet, probably like 65, 70% of it, was plant-based foods, things that grew down here.
Mm-hmm.
Collards, black-eyed peas, field
Yeah.
peas, cabbage, things like that.
Yeah.
So we just like good food. So when somebody, yeah,
Amen to that.
yeah, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to contain meat for us to enjoy it. So
Right.
we're not necessarily advocates for one particular diet or the other, but one thing we both agree on and that we always explain to people, whether you are a meat eater or not, is that plants, plant-based foods are some of the best and healthiest foods that we can eat because even cows and chickens have plant-based diets.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So
And it's
we like meat, but we don't necessarily have to have meat in our diet.
right. So I guess I'm curious, like how, there's 8 billion people on the planet and the
Mhm.
health, just to keep unpacking the health sides of it, right? Like
Yeah.
there's not enough meat being produced to make sure everybody can have the meat on
Right.
that front. And then like, we're spoiled because we're in America, so we get any choice we want, whether it's seafood,
Mhm.
fish, whatever your choices are. But like do you how I'm curious, like your diet, like would you say you limit the number of meat? Like, are you more in that flexitarian space kind of a thing, or do you have it every day, or like what's your sort of diet style now? And do you see health implications one way or another, whether you eat only plants or like I'm just curious what your vision is on the health side of eating the meat.
Yeah. You want to
Yeah,
take that
well,
one?
what I will say is starting from the latter question is that I do a lot of fasting first and
Mm-hmm.
foremost. Once a week, I fast and I omit food in general. Um, we do a lot of juicing
Mm-hmm.
and smoothies as well. So, absolutely, when you omit meat, I don't think that there's an argument between the two of us that we don't see that there is an increased energy and, of course, the lack of sluggishness. And then to be a little gross, we know that it allows our bodies to emanate the waste a lot quicker, right?
Fiber.
Right?
Yes,
Fiber,
Fiber.
absolutely. But those are all things that are very, very important, right? We just came back
that's
from
right.
overseas, and you can tell the difference in because meat is a yes, meat will contribute to a slower digestive system, but so does the preservatives. So you
Right.
can tell the difference depending on where you are and where you're eating. As far as our diet is concerned, there are nights that we won't have any kind of meat, and then there are nights where we'll have a meat, but we may have two vegetables
Yeah.
and in a very small starch. I think our idea of eating is just eating cleaner, right?
Yeah.
Not a whole bunch of sauce, a whole bunch of cheese, and just understanding that
Unless it's Gouda. We are big fans of
we're
Gouda.
very much so who has its
Yeah.
hand up, but we're very much so just conscious of the fact that we are uh, in our mid to late 30s, right? Baby is a little closer to 40 than I am, and
Yeah.
knowing that
Last lap.
yeah, last 39, and knowing that health is wealth, right? So we
Right.
absolutely value the things that are going to give our organs what they need to continue to
Mm-hmm.
work,
Right.
because we understand that especially in our late teens and 20s, we probably did a lot of damage to them. So we want to have
Yes.
longevity. We
Me too.
definitely
I'm
want
in
to
that bucket.
have longevity. So, but I will say this: I think as you get a little older, your palate expands and you start to acquire a greater taste for the vegetables and the things that are actually richer because meat is beautiful,
Yeah.
vegetables are beautiful, but you start realizing that your body responds better to certain things.
Especially when you talk
100%.
about the types of meat, like red meat, our bodies take a much longer time to break down and digest, and red meats are also linked to, or they have higher levels of cholesterol and things along those lines.
Yeah.
So one thing, well, baby's more of a bigger red meat eater than I am, but I do enjoy it. So we tend to eat a lot more chicken, well, poultry and fish.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you,
Yeah.
the best chicken we
It's
ever had in the world, listen, was in Paris, France, at a place called Chicken World, and it was a food truck. And they
okay.
served whole chickens, and they consider chicken legs the whole quarter, where, in America, we try to divvy it up and make proceeds on everything.
Yeah.
And you can just tell the difference. So meat is different everywhere you go, interestingly. But I guess it's about how
I
they
would
treat
I'd
it
say
in
the
Jamaica.
best chicken I ever had was in Jamaica, Jamaican jerk chicken in
Oh
Jamaica.
Oh,
yeah.
you
That
like
like
spice?
was
Okay.
yeah, it was hot too, but with a red stripe, it was tasting good.
Oh
You know
yeah.
Um,
what, Brian? I could eat with you because red stripe is one of the only
well,
things that I want.
that's honestly the one thing that as a vegan now, like I love spicy food and I love
Yeah.
mushrooms. So I would
Yeah.
say, it's just interesting because like more and more and more studies are coming out that are clearly showing that meat links to cancer and meat links to
Mhm.
high cholesterol and high blood pressure and a ton of chronic diseases. And specifically like cold cuts and the processed meats, those 100%, the World Health Organization has clearly said that it's the same as smoking. You know what I mean? Like it's guaranteed to cause cancer and stuff like that. So I like to hear the situation of people saying like, well, I eat the organic, grass fed, whatever, but like it doesn't matter in my opinion whether it's the eggs or the chicken or the fish. All of them have been scientifically proven that they're going to cause cancer faster than the plants will. They're going to, and all those things eat the plants to get the vitamins and
Mhm.
minerals into them and stuff like that. So, but your
Right.
your big debate is really around the taste of it. So I guess my question for you before we switch to some of the other topics is around the taste of it. Like Better Meat Co. has created this mycelium meat and has some steaks that, in theory, taste just as good as the meat alternatives on that front. Have you tried a wide variety of the plant-based meats and found any that you feel like really have resonated on the taste structure yet, or the
No,
taste buds? No?
no, meat needs to just be meat, and vegetables just needs to be vegetables. Reason being, let it be what it is. Don't try to make it taste like meat. If
I
it's
know, but like the taste is so key to why we eat, right? Like that's the number
yes.
one reason why people are like, I love the taste of the cigarette, so I can't give it up or whatever. I'm
Mhm.
addicted to the motion or something. But like the same is true with the meat. We know it causes these things in these situations, but it's the taste or the rituals of the culture that are holding us back. So I don't like my plants to pretend like they're animals either. I agree with you.
Right. But let me jump in there and let you get yours. So one thing I will say is, I made that statement because a lot of times when it's uh, the vegetables that they try to make taste like meat, there's so many preservatives and fillers and things that are added
Yeah.
to it that make it just as unhealthy, or almost as unhealthy as the meat. So if we're gonna do, let's say, a cauliflower, whatever, don't process it so much to where you're losing the health benefit of it.
Agreed. Yeah.
Prepare it in such a way that it still maintains the same health benefits. So
Yeah.
I haven't came across there's been some like mushroom jerkies and things like that.
Hmm.
Because we both are big on reading ingredients. So if we see,
Yeah.
okay, you got the same amount of preservatives and additives and fillers and all that, no, we'll leave that alone. But if it's strictly, what it is, the mushrooms or whatever, what have you, with natural seasonings and flavors, okay, we'll work with those. We're more apt to try those than the fake meats. Go ahead, baby.
Oh, we
Yeah.
were going to say the same thing.
Oh, okay.
My argument was the same thing, that just like I enjoy a good black bean burger. We eat a lot of mushrooms. What's the one that we like? Is it
Lion's mane?
lion's
I
mane?
was gonna say lion's mane's pretty darn close.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it takes on flavor impeccably, right?
Yeah.
But
It
we're not
does.
calling it a
It
lion
does.
steak,
Correct.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Like, yeah, well, the meat subsidies keep the meat prices low, and that the lion's mane's still more expensive. But when it switches,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
so I think we're both aligned 100% on the whole food side of this fence. The whole food, not maybe so much the plant-based side of it, but the less processed food, the better it is for you, 1000%. So
Absolutely.
let's switch gears and talk about the next topic that a lot of us vegans care so much about is the environment. So how do you believe that like the meat-based diet contributes to the environment right now?
Ooh, pick me.
Alana, you get to go first this time.
It's population control.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't eat the animals, then they would take up more space on the earth.
But so I just watched some statistic on this the other day, and I'm not going to quote it the right way perfectly, right? But like, I think there are 1.8 billion cows on this planet. Like, it is by far the most produced animal. You know, maybe probably chickens are right up there too. But like, clearly humans have risen to the top of the food chain, and we control exactly what we put on our plates. And those are the number. The chicken, the fish, and the cows and the pigs are the most dominant animals on the planet by far, right?
Correct.
So
When you say by number or population?
by far, right? So I mean, they outnumber us. I mean, I think we kill almost 1 billion animals a day to ship for food. So when you really start breaking down some of these numbers and see how much land is being used for raising the cows and raising the chickens and stuff like that, and how much land is used just to raise the vegetables to feed to the animals. So we take huge nutrient dense awesome calories and feed them to the animals, which spend a lot of those calories, and then they get slaughtered and brought to us, kind of a thing. So it's like a double cycle. So I'm just curious your thoughts on the environment side of the meat paradigm.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything is cyclical, right? Everything kind of goes in a cycle. Like nothing necessarily gets wasted. Everything has a use. But one thing I will say is, when we are out and about, we really don't see a lot of farmland in general. We don't see large animal farms or even large vegetable farms. I think we all know that a lot of things are getting produced in factories.
Yep.
And so
Well, it's surprising because we're both in North Carolina, right? So North Carolina is one of the largest producers of pigs in the United States on that front. And when you drive past the pig farm.
Yeah, that and chicken farms, yes, absolutely.
That too.
Smells horrible. But you look at it, those processing plants, they generate a lot of harmful toxins in the environment. I mean, hell, just from breathing it, we're like, how are people even working in these kind of conditions?
Yeah.
And so, it would be great if that weren't the case, which means we would have to reduce our meat consumption.
Well, we have to eat more best damn nutrition bars and less steaks on that front for sure, right?
Converting in one bite at a time.
That's right.
All right, if you've ever wanted to show off your plant-based lifestyle and do it in style, here's your chance. We have some of the most amazing t-shirts, hats, accessories, coffee mugs, and more at shop.realmeneatplants.com. We have statement t-shirts that will bring a smile to everyone's face. I love the I Want Tofu Tonight tee. Plus, we have podcast tees, Real Women Eat Plants gear, Real Kids Eat Plants, and Real People Eat Plants, just in case men, women, and kids didn't cover it all. Yeah, we love you and love that you want to show off that healthy lifestyle of yours. Again, check out our high-quality gear at shop.realmeneatplants.com and enjoy.
I think that's the misconception. I don't think you guys don't seem and sound like, you're eating red meat at every single meal by any means whatsoever.
No, not
So
at
No.
like,
all.
but there are the standard American diet pretty much supplies the meat at every meal on that front. So it's interesting to see the balance that we have to get to. I hope everybody, adopts a whole food plant-based diet in some fashion, but I know there's going to be the people that just won't give up for the taste or whatever the reasons are. But like, I don't know what the numbers are. I feel like we've probably already passed 1.5 degrees increase in the heat on the planet, is my opinion. And so we're heading towards the destruction of all life on this planet, unfortunately. And so if we don't all switch to plant-based tomorrow, that could reduce almost 40% of the emissions and really start shifting the world back to where it was. And like maybe in 100, 200 years, we might be able to say, okay, we can introduce the cows again and have one piece of red meat per month or something. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that balanced paradigm is, but it's interesting to feel like I feel like we've already passed the tipping point, and I'm worried for my future generations of children and everything else on the planet. How do you guys see the climate change
Well,
situations?
I wouldn't blame it solely, well, not that you're saying solely, but as heavy on the animals, as quickly as we can reduce that by the carbon footprint with just our vehicles, right? Or the
Yeah,
chemtrails. There's so many different factors that go into that
yeah,
I see removing animals as one of them, but I don't know if it's, and of course I haven't done the scientific research, but if that's
yeah,
as toxic as our vehicles every day or the things that we think are just normal modes of transportation. These animals were here before we were here, right?
right.
So I don't know if it's them or if it's really just us.
It's an interesting question because the vehicles is where everybody points to it, but we spend a lot of the vehicle time transporting the animals and the grain to feed them as well. But it is really the animals. The statistics are skewed because they don't lump all the animals together. They say cows is 2% and the chickens are 6 or 7%. And so when you say all transportation, it probably does add up to like 27, 28%, and the animals never get all lumped together. But if you watch like What the Health on Netflix and stuff like that, you'll see how they showcase some of those things. So it's surprising when you look into the research, you'll see that it's much higher than people think for that side of it. But yeah, I mean, 100%, we got to do some things for transportation as well.
And one thing I
Um,
would say on that topic too is, a lot of times when we're talking about uh, animals, we don't talk about the other uses of animals outside of consumption and eating.
That's
mhm.
So if we're going to say let's not eat as many plants, well, are we as a society willing to wear less cotton and use less leather products and other things
Yep,
that we uh,
that's very true.
consume not by our mouths, but just from physical resources that still have to kill these animals?
I agree. I mean,
Last,
I
we got
try
to
and
go
tell.
all in versus, well, let's focus on this segment.
I agree because
Yeah.
it's so interesting. Like, and I think we even talked about this. We at the other meeting we were at is like you get to vote with your dollars. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah,
where you get to
absolutely.
decide. So when I did get a leather belt for Christmas or something, and
Mhm.
I asked, can I have the gift receipt? I do want to exchange it for a
Yeah.
vegan belt. Just because I
Yeah,
do want to make sure I'm planting those seeds where I can.
right.
On that front, so yeah, everybody gets to vote with their wallets. But that's
Mhm.
where I guess I'm so excited to talk with you about like how do we bring the Best Damn Nutrition Bar and all the other vegan meal replacement bars and nutrition bars closer to market because um, it really goes into the last category is like the treatment of the animals, right? Like
Mhm.
we talked about some of the numbers and stuff that are affecting the planet, but like the treatment of the animals, like there's I don't, I don't know what are your thoughts on, we know the factory farming and the way they kill things and everything else. Like it's tough on a lot of fronts. You have some thoughts on, have you guys sat together and thought about that at all or?
Not in terms of a business per se, but we have looked at, a lot of the documentaries like What the Health, and there's another one, The Blue Zones.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
good
that's
one.
a great one to actually listen to the audio book. I haven't watched the Netflix documentary, but listen to the audio book.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, we see that animals are treated very uh, inhumanely. I mean, they've showed images of cows literally crying, like
Yeah.
they do have emotions and things like that. Um, I think, and me and Baby were talking about this earlier, going back even to a biblical sense, where yeah, they still ate meat back in the day, but it wasn't the inhumane treatment. I guess you can say killing in general was
Yeah.
inhumane, if
Yeah.
we lump that
The Old
together.
Testament definitely had a lot of that in it.
Yeah, the one they don't want to
But
talk about.
yeah.
But when you look at that to how things are mass produced now, and where it's just whatever the treatment is, we're going to clump a million chickens or whatever in this small cell. Well, uh, then it actually creates a different flavor in the meat in itself, because now you're changing the hormone balance of
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
animal to where now you're getting a different taste versus those that are treated more humanely.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I mean, it does happen. We do see that, but like you said, in order to make a compelling argument against that, we have to change our purchasing habits. And until we do
Yep.
that, nothing's going to change, because when we verbally say, "Hey, we want to see a change," but our dollars say we're comfortable with the way things are, nothing would ever change.
Yeah, 100%. I know the people at Five Guys, they have Five Guys burgers and fries has the veggie burger for me kind of thing now, but so it is slowly changing on that front, but it's not quite as still I don't enjoy going to those kinds of places to a degree overall.
I think one of
Uh
the reasons is, one of the reasons people tend to continue to gravitate towards meat is because for, decades and decades, we've been brainwashed to think that we're going to die if we don't have protein.
yeah.
And that the only way you can get protein is through meat.
It's so true, right? I mean, and look how many grams of protein are packed into your bars.
Not a whole lot, because we don't do any protein additives. We have about 5 to 7 grams of protein, but that's coming from the ingredients that are already in it: the oats, the nuts, the seeds.
Right.
So
But
we
I
don't
mean,
put,
I think it goes to show like the plants do have the proteins in it. I mean, a protein
absolutely.
is just made up of those amino acids, and as long as you get a nice
Mhm.
variety of color and all the food you
Right.
eat, you'll be fine on that front. What I mean, you guys are in the fitness business a little bit.
Mhm.
Hit me with what do you think the right amount of protein is for somebody that's working out fairly regularly? Like, do you have any targets that you recommend to people?
Depends on your goals. And this is, based off of research that I've done throughout the years. But if you're looking to gain muscle, the industry recommendation, the standard recommendation is about zero point 0.7, zero point 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. I
Okay.
don't have, because I'm a personal trainer by trade as well. I haven't come across a lot of clients where they're looking to just gain a ton of muscle. The majority of the people that I've come
Yeah.
across from a clientele standpoint, and just people in general, want to live a healthy lifestyle, which is what
Yeah.
we primarily focus on, is living a healthy lifestyle. So
Yeah.
from that standpoint, we look at how can you live a sustainable or have a sustainable and healthy balanced diet
Yeah.
versus you need to make sure you get this X number of grams of protein and X number of grams of this. Let's look at getting back to the basics. What are some of the most healthy things that we can eat? Like we just said, plant-based foods.
More
Uh,
kale.
uh, yeah, more kale, more all the above.
Yeah.
But let's listen to our bodies, because our bodies tell us when we've had enough food.
That's right.
Our taste
Yep.
buds tell us, when we're ready to eat, or if something's nasty or something's good or whatever the case. So let's focus on the basics and living an overall healthy lifestyle, whether you're a meat eater or not, whether you're plant-based or not. What does a healthy diet look like? What are the
Yep.
nutrients that our body needs to give us the energy that we need? And then we focus on it from that standpoint.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The problem is that we eat for taste and not to live anymore. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. And I like what you said earlier, Alana, in the sense of like everybody should remember what it feels like to be hungry, like
Yeah.
fast. Like, maybe whatever your fasting schedule is, whether it's once a year for a few days or once a month or once a week, like it's good to just like
absolutely.
let your body get everything out and sort of detox a little bit and
Hmm.
fuel it back up. So,
Absolutely.
I just want to add something really quickly, just a very interesting point. Whether you eat plants or meat, everybody has their own arguments and their own statistics because your belief system is very important to you. Um,
mhm.
I have my own dietary restrictions because I follow the dietary laws out of the Bible. So I don't eat any pork or crustaceans, right? But we met a lady who was our, you really need to hear this, and I'll make it short, right? A lady who was our Uber driver when we missed our flight in Destin and had to go over to Pensacola. And for this hour ride, she tried to convince us, I mean, and she meant it from the bottom of her heart, okay? That the only thing that you need to eat was butter and ground beef. And she ate a
Oh
pound.
my goodness.
And she ate a pound of it every single day. Okay, and she broke it up into her meals. She ate no vegetables. She told us how bad vegetables were and everything. And we're thinking, well, what do you think that the cows eat, right? We know that they're out there
Yeah.
grazing. And she gave us all types of statistics about why it was important and why it was the only thing that you
Yeah,
needed.
get her on the show.
Ah.
And why she thought that it changed her lifestyle. Now, it sounds outlandish to us, but when other people hear certain things that we say, they don't believe it. So my only
Yeah.
point is just that everybody has their own belief system and they have what they think works for them. And when you believe it so much, then you might start seeing those results because the
Yeah.
mind is powerful. But we all would agree that we know that eating a pound of ground beef and butter every day is going to clog your arteries.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah. And that's where I just say like I'd be curious if she went on a plant-based diet for 30 days and saw her cholesterol numbers fall through the floor on that. But like we've mentioned the Bible a couple times, so we're both in the Christian faith and I think like I just like to point out Adam and Eve were vegetarians, weren't they? Or vegan
Um,
probably.
I don't know.
you know what? I
It
do.
wasn't. Oh, wait.
No. I mean,
They were in the garden. They
I
were
believe that
talking to the animals, having fun with them. I don't think they were eating them.
I don't know that they ate them until I do believe that Adam and Eve probably were vegetarians in my personal belief of reading it.
Vegan.
I
I
don't
don't even think they ate the eggs. So,
right. So I don't think that they ate anything until they got to Leviticus, right?
Other than the apple.
After the sin.
Yeah.
After they ate the
that's
fruit
right. After the
that they
sin.
should have not, and that's where things changed.
Shit ain't beef.
And well then he gave you a
I
list
didn't mean to start a little fight there on that later,
no.
No, I was just joking. I was just joking.
Well, this has been awesome. I mean, I think I really, really appreciate you guys coming on the show. I do hope that everybody who's listening does check out the Best Damn Nutrition Bar with Xcel and what you guys are doing on that, because I do want to see more vegan products like what you're doing come out to the market. This is a tough topic to talk about in general with anybody, and I hope you guys had some fun just talking with me a little bit and sharing some stories and helping open up people's minds that are watching and listening to this to in my opinion try a plant-based diet for 30 days. Go get your blood work before and after and give it a go, but at the same time, like, we do have to find a path as a society in some way, shape, or form, and I personally think it's going to have to involve a whole bunch more plants. So any parting closing thoughts, and do tell us how we can get in touch with you guys and where we can pick up some of your bars.
So I'll start, and then maybe you can let them know where to find the bars. But I would say be open to change. Be open to change. We can find anything online that we want to substantiate what we already think is true. If we
Mm-hmm.
want to find something that says, hey, you should eat a meat-based diet or eat meats only, it's the healthiest way to go. And if we just do a Google search in there, we'll find something to substantiate that.
Yeah.
So we have to be open to change and be open to uh, opposing views and just be
Yep.
willing to have an open dialogue about it instead of being so gung ho on what we already think we know.
Well,
Yeah.
adults agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And try it for yourself. Like you said, get your blood work before and after.
I mean, most people, and that's what I like to point out is, we've all been raised with the meat in our lives.
Mhm.
And so we've gone, 39 years on this planet only eating the meat. So like, I'm just encouraging you to try it for 30 or 60 days and see how you feel, and then you can go back to meat eating if it's not for you, kind of a thing. But like, you have to try it, like just like fasting or running or tennis or anything else. You've got to say you've tried it before you can knock it. So, yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you for having us because it was a beautiful conversation of everybody's opinions and stances. My imparting words are, I don't think I actually learned how to cook until I only cooked vegetables.
Mhm.
So I did a 21-day Daniel's fast, and you have to omit salt, and you can only eat what is approved, right, through your
Yeah.
church, and the vegetables and the starches. And I think that's when I learned how to be creative, because meat has its own flavor, but the vegetables take a little more doctoring, right? Because a lot of times we just
Yeah.
put sauce on meat, right? So I think I really wrap my head around being a little more domesticated and really understanding how to cook, because you learn whether you want your vegetables soft, you still want to
Yeah.
hold on to the integrity of the vitamins that you're getting. So I think it's definitely everybody should be open-minded. And then as far as where you can find the best damn meal bar for Xcel, is we are located here in Charlotte, North Carolina. You can find us at the Uptown Farmers Market every Saturday starting back April, I think, the second
14,
weekend.
second weekend of April,
We're on a
runs through
little
April,
break
December.
because it was cold outside.
Yeah.
We're also located at 3 of the Rhino markets here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we are offered at Swarthmore University in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, as well as, please don't forget to check out the website, which is www.alwaysxcel.com, Excel without the additional E or the first E. And please check us out. We have 9 flavors, and they will all really reach out to your taste palette, whether you are a chocolate peanut butter fan or you like chocolate covered strawberry. We have something for everybody.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, Ernest and Alana, for being here, hanging out with us for a little bit. And don't forget to check out the Best Damn Meal Bar, Nutrition Bar, as their name and changes and stuff evolve. It's ALWAYSXCEL.com, right?
Absolutely.
Got that right? Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. And that's all the time we have for this episode of Plants vs. Meat. We need your help finding more people. So please recommend us, make a comment like this. Let's blow up this conversation and start talking about food and nutrition and how it ties into the environment, the animals, and all those things. So help us spread the word and share this episode. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Okay.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Plants vs. Meat. We hope you enjoyed the debate and gained some new insights into the complex world of food choices. Remember, whether you choose plants or meat, the most important thing is to make informed decisions that work for you and the planet. Don't forget to tune in next time for more food for thought and more heated debates. Thanks for listening to Plants vs. Meat, brought to you by Real Men Eat Plants. Head over to Apple Podcast and give us a review and let us know what you think about this episode. Don't forget to tag us at Plant vs. Meat Podcast when you share this episode in your preferred social media. Do you think you have a good argument about eating meat? Be our guest and email us at pvm@realmeneatplants.com. We love hearing from our listeners. Thank you to our guests and to you, our listeners, for your support, and see you next time.